All right, we are live, okay, you guys. We're live, and we're going to be cooking shrimp and grits, okay? Absolute goodness, okay? Shrimp and grits. Waiting for a couple more people to get on, and then I am going to get started. This is one of my all-time favorite foods after ramen noodles. This is going to be good, all right? You're gonna want to be part of this, okay? All right. I'm just go ahead and get some of the ingredients out, okay? Just pull some of the ingredients out. We're gonna have an onion. We're gonna have some grits. Amazing. I don't know if you ever had grits or not, but this is like one of my favorite foods after ramen noodles. All right, so you got that, and I'm gonna get some spices together. Okay, spices we're gonna use. I got some chipotle pepper ground. Okay, chipotle pepper ground. They're just smoked jalapeno peppers. All right, got those out. Gonna get some cheese. Absolute goodness. Got some good old-fashioned American cheese. Also, some other ingredients we're gonna use. We're gonna use a little bit of garlic powder. All right, a little garlic powder, and all right, got a little bit of garlic powder. You see that? Absolute goodness. All right. Gonna pull out some salt. I don't use much salt, but occasionally I will add a little bit of salt to my food. I have kosher salt because I like keeping things kosher. Everything's kosher around here, from like my pepperoni, I like kosher, hot dogs, like pork chops, everything I keep kosher. Okay, so I got this right here. Got the Italian seasoning. Italian seasoning's real good. It's kind of absolute goodness. All right, I'm gonna set these to the side. Well, at least the cheese to the side, because I'm gonna be adding the cheese later to my grits. Absolute goodness, if you ask me. Absolute goodness. So I'm gonna set the cheese to the side. Yep, to the side. Oh, also, I'm gonna have some flour. Okay, I got a couple of teaspoons of flour there. I'm gonna show you like what I'm gonna do with that. I'm gonna go ahead and get that started. I'm just gonna add a little bit of water to this flour. All right. Add a little bit of water to the flour, and you see how it looks right here. It just looks like a puddle of I don't know what it is. All right. So I'm just going to mix this together because this is what we're going to be using as the gravy for the grits. So I'm just going to mix that up, and then I'm going to let it sit because it needs to sit, and the flour needs to absorb a lot of the water. So I'm just going to stir this up, and I'm just going to set this to the side. And while I'm setting this to the side, I'll put this to the side over there, I am going to start to season my shrimps, okay? Let me drain some of the water from off the shrimps. I'm gonna season the shrimps. So first, I'm gonna add a little bit of kosher salt. Keep it kosher. All right. Put a little salt in there. All right. Just got a couple of pinches of salt in there. That's all you need. And then I'm gonna put, excuse me, a little garlic. All right. This is powdered garlic. Put a couple of pinches in there. Garlic really flavors things up. Get it tasting really good. So I'm gonna put a couple of pinches of garlic in there. All right, got some garlic in there. All right, then Italian seasoning, just a little bit. I don't want it to be overpowering. All right, so a little bit of Italian seasoning in there. Got that going in there. Then chipotle. Now, if you smell this, you can put your nose up to the screen and try to smell this. I'm going to get it so you can smell it a little bit. Chipotle, it has a nice smoky flavor. That's what I'm going with today. I usually make shrimp and grits with all different types of flavors. Today, I'm feeling the smoky chipotle ground pepper flavor, okay? Absolute goodness. If you can ever find this, maybe at a Mexican market or somewhere, try to get the chipotle pepper ground. It's good for stuff like this. It's also good for hamburgers, all right? So I'm gonna get a little bit of this, pour a little bit of chipotle powder in there. All right. Got that much chipotle powder, pepper powder. It's gonna be making it a little spicy, but that's okay. The cheese grits actually mellows it out. All right, so I think you can handle it. All right. So I'm gonna put that in there, and then I'm just gonna stir this up and then set it to the side, okay? So I'm gonna just stir this up. Let the seasoning go through it, just like that. All right. Let the seasoning go through it. All right, good. Set that to the side. I'm gonna be cooking with that later. Let me just mix it a little bit more. Then look at that's the chipotle seasoning in there. All right. I'm gonna put that there, and I'm gonna set this to the side. And then I have an onion, right? So I'm gonna cut a little onion. I like onion. Some people don't like onion, but I like onion. This is a red onion. I use this because I like the crunch and the flavor. I could use onion powder, but I decided to go with the real onion this time. So I'm just gonna cut this up really quick on my cutting board that I have right here. Just gonna cut that. Just cut a couple of slices. All right, just like that. All right, so once I cut it up over here, I'm just gonna take the pilations from around the edges and then toss those, okay? You do not want pilations inside of your concoction, all right? So, I'm gonna take the pilations off of it, toss these. Smell the onion. Some people like to smell onion. If you want to smell an onion, you can smell it. Absolute goodness, if you ask me. Absolute goodness. So I'm just going to get the rest of the pilations from off the plate. And I am going to just cut these. And while this is going on, I'm just going to turn on the water for the grits back here, the cheese grits. I'm going to turn that on. Get that water bubbling. All right, and so I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to cut the onions how I like to. You can cut them however you like to, but I like it like this for this particular recipe. All right, call it small like that. All right, and this side right here, almost done. All right, cut that like that. And then one more onion. Boom. And we're ready to get cooking. Got the water getting ready to boil. Turn that up so we can get that going. And then remember the flour that I said I was going to keep to the side, right? This to the side. Every now and then I'm just going to mix it up because I want all of the flour to be, I don't want any clumps in here, right? No clumps. You see that? And the longer you let it sit, the more the flour will absorb the water, preventing clumps, all right? And we're going to show you what I'm going to do with this at the end, okay? I call this gravy, right? All right, baby gravy. I'm going to put it right here, right? So, just going to let that sit so you can see. All right, now this is the grits, all right? I don't really do instructions too well, all right? So, because I'm a chef, you know, after years of making instant ramen noodles, I don't really use measuring cups. Now, you can if you need to, but you just follow the instructions on the side. So I'm going to take the grits, all right, and I'm just going to put them in the pot right here. All right, got the grits in the pot, and I'm just going to stir them a little bit with my spoon. A lot of grits in there. We're going to make a lot of cheese. I might have to get more cheese in that than that, okay? But we'll see. We'll see. All right, put my spoon down, and then I'm going to grab some cheese. I have 3 slices of cheese right here, but I'm actually going to use more, all right? Let's see. Grab a few more slices of cheese. All right, so that brings a grand total up to 5 slices of cheese. I'm just going to prep these, okay, while the grits are getting ready. I'm going to prep the cheese right here. Prep the cheese. Open the cheese. So I got 5 slices of absolute goodness, all right? That's 2, 3. I wonder why the slices always come in these individually wrapped things like this. It's always been really cool to, I don't know, I like pulling the cheese out, all right? There you go. And then one last slice to make it 5 and Shazam. All right, so got the cheese right there. Separate them from the onions, as you say in French, onion. All right? Or is that Spanish? One of the two. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this pan on to like a medium to medium high. All right? There's a little bit of water left over in the pan. I'm just going to dry it out. And I'm going to heat the pan. And when I heat the pan before I add the oil, okay? And the reason why I do that, because I want the pan to be hot without cooking the oil, all right? All right, so I got that going. The pan's starting to heat up. I'm just going to stir up the flour a little bit more. See how nice and thick consistency that's getting right there? Absolute goodness. This is going to be good for the gravy, all right? All right, check on the grits. Stir these things up, okay? Stir the grits up, and you got to constantly or occasionally stir the grits because you do not want clumpy grits. There's nothing worse in life than a clumpy grit. You see that? That's a piece of clump right there. You want to get rid of that, and you do that by occasionally stirring the grits. Don't forget to stir your grits, all right? Looking good. Making sure you're getting all the clumps out, all right? That's cool. Get that to a boil. We'll turn it down. We're going to add the cheese in a little bit. So the pan is getting hot, right? So the pan's getting hot. Hot. Yeah, the pan's getting hot. And so when the pan gets hot, we're going to add the oil. Right here I have some olive oil, okay? This is shipped directly from the motherland, Italia, Italy. All right, turn on the grits. Got popped by some grit. That's the worst thing ever, all right? So I'm going to put the top over this, not covered completely, but over it, so I don't get burnt by grits. That's the worst thing ever if you ever get burnt by grits, okay? Yummy. That's exactly right, Rockstar. All right, so the pan's hot. I'm going to add some of the olive oil shipped directly from the motherland, Italy. All right, so I'm just going to add some oil to the pan, right? Just a little bit. All right. Once I add the oil to the pan, I'm going to go ahead and just dump the onions, as you say in French, to the pan. All right. Added the onions, as you say in French or Spanish, to the pan. Then I'm going to take my spatula. I'm just going to stir it and even it up a little bit. All right, so I'm going to just toast the onions a little bit, right? And I'm going to keep them on the middle because the middle is the hot part of the pan, so right? So I'm going to put it right there and let them toast a little bit right there. As you can see, toast it in the middle like that. And then I'm going to take my shrimps, stir them one more time to get a little bit of the coating and let them rest for about a minute while I toast the onions, okay? I'm just going to toast one side of the onions before I add the shrimps, okay? So, it's toasting, okay? Take my spatula and just let them toast a little bit more. And then around the side, I'm just going to add the shrimps because it's a cooler part of the pan, right? So it's going to be the shrimp circle, all right? They look happy. All right. There you go. I also have a vegan version of shrimp and grits. All right, I'll make that sometime because I know I have a lot of vegans who would love to take a bite of the shrimp, but they can't because their religion is veganism. All right, and so I'm going to put that there. And then I'm going to check on the grits. Just let this keep on frying. The shrimps are getting cooked on one side. The grits, they are getting thick. I'm going to take my spoon and stir it, okay? I can turn it off now because those are 5-minute grits. So I'm going to stir that. And what comes next, while the shrimps are cooking, I'm going to add some butter to the pan. Not to the pan, but to the grits. Just a teaspoon or two to the grits. And then add the cheese. Break the cheese up so you don't get clumps of cheese. There's nothing in the world worse than clumpy cheese. All right? Wow. The flavor is so strong that it's starting to... So I'm going to take that and just dump it in like that and then just pull the grits over on top of it. And when you do that, the heat from the grits is going to melt the cheese. All right? And I'm going to put it right there, and I'm going to put the top back over it. And then I'm going to check on my shrimps, okay? And then I'm going to turn them. You see how it's toasting on the bottom a little bit? So I'm just going to saute them like this. Let's zoom in a little bit so you can see this. All right, so I got the shrimp. And I am toasting them, sauteing them. They're looking really good. If you can see a little bit closer, you can see them toasting, right? Toasted, sauteed onions and shrimps. Okay, now I got that going. Smelling absolute goodness, all right? And what I'm doing while this is going on, I'm going to get a cup. You see this? It could be a measured cup, it could be a cup. And put a little bit of warm water in there. Like half a cup to 3/4 of a cup of warm water. All right? Looking good, smelling good. And then I'm going to get my cap. And I'll show you why in a little bit. I am frying the fish, not the fish, but the shrimp. I'm sauteing them. They're going to be on the outside absolutely done, but I want to ensure that they're completely done on the inside. All right, so I have the water and then I have the cap, and I'll show you what I'm going to do in a second. Now, I'm going to stir this up like maybe one more time. Now all of the, wow, the chipotle peppers are kind of strong. You might want to be careful with this. All right. So now I have this. The oil is out of it. All right. Now what I do not recommend you do this at home. Only a trained chef with certifications should do this because they know what they're doing. If you're doing this at home, you don't know what you're doing, you're not a chef, you should not do this. Entertainment purposes only, you guys. So the fish is pretty much done. So what now is I'm going to finish cooking them by doing this. I'm going to add a little bit of water to the to the shrimps, and then I'm going to put the top on and let the steam do it. So do not do this, because if you pour this on oil, there's too much oil in the pan, you will hurt yourself because it will splatter at you and you can get hurt. All right, so I'm going to add this, a little bit of water, cover it up for about 10 seconds. And then I'm going to take my concoction with the flour right here, the flour, and then I am going to pour this in here. Absolute goodness. Absolute goodness, if you ask me. Then I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to stir it. Just like that. You see that? And then turn the fire off. Maybe add a little bit of more water. And stir it like this. And you have that. Doesn't that look good, you guys? Absolute goodness. All right, I'll get my bowl ready. Look at the shrimp and grits. Stir that. You see all the cheese? All the cheese, zoom out a little bit. Absolute goodness, if you ask me. Absolute goodness. All right, so I have this cheesy grits right there. Doesn't get much better than that. I'm gonna have this, and I'm just gonna pour this inside of the bowl. Some cheesy grits. And then I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna zoom in so you can see all of this. All right, so then I'm gonna take the shrimp with the gravy. I'm just gonna take the spatula and just pour it on top just like that. That's goodness. Absolute goodness, if you ask me. Absolute goodness. All right, let me guys know what you think. Shrimp and grits, right there for you. Take care. Absolute goodness. Don't forget to give me a like. Wow. That's amazing.